maybe they'll pop in here in a bit. Okay. All right, so you've got the roll call.
Yep.
I guess, should we approve the minutes from our previous meeting?
Be appreciated.
I so move.
I think did everybody have a chance? We got. a
I'll
motion
second.
approved. John will second. I'm gonna give them a quick glance. Those in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay. All right, well, rolling right along then. The first item on the agenda is the Bur Oak Concert. I think everybody got the email that we are looking at July 15th for that, which I believe is Friday night. Margot and Walter are truly a gift to our community. We are well underway.
Say the date again. I'm
July 15th. And I talked to Scott about this on the parks side. I am pretty sure that we already officially voted to sponsor this event, but if we could just do that again so that we can fill out the paperwork and say for sure that we absolutely, if somebody wants to make a
I
motion.
move we support Bur Oak Concert.
Seconded.
And a second, if all those in favor,
Aye.
any opposed? Awesome. Okay, so,
That's here next.
hi Beth. I will go ahead and fill out the paperwork on that, and work with Scott on getting all the whatever.
Paperwork, what regarding permits? or-
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, there's a special events thing you have to fill out and figure out what streets we want to close. And as we, no parking and, so we'll get it all sorted out. But as we get closer to the event, stay tuned because I'm sure we'll need people to, serve as greeters and escorts and.
Volunteers are kind of a big deal with that one.
Well, can you all
Guiding
hear?
me through the
Well,
darkness.
yes, with flashlights, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you all hear us speaking?
I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Beth, you're good? Okay. Cool. So I don't know if there's anything else about that, if anybody has questions.
It's one of those things that really takes care of itself to a large degree.
And this year they're doing.
Well, they take
groups.
theirs.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
And that is why I
Thank
said
you
they
for
are,
correcting me on
they
that.
are
That
a
was
gift,
correcting.
because holy cow, they just make it happen. So, and it's roots music this year, which I think is clever.
Oh,
It's
nice.
roots.
Yeah,
So
good. So that's what it's called, Bur Oak Roots.
I believe that is that's the working title anyway. I think that's what we're going. So. All right.
I think that'll pull in even more people.
Oh my gosh, I don't know where we're gonna put
It's
them.
the second year anyway, and then with that kind of music, which is,
Come early, because last
Yeah.
year we had people sitting on the other side of the creek, out of like behind the stage.
it wasn't a bad place.
No,
it's so gorgeous there.
It was perfect. All right. So our next topic is the Lifetime Achievement in the Arts, and we need to actually officially decide who we're giving this to.
Today. we
Yes,
need to
and
do
I
that.
am remiss, because I was going to get in touch with Jane Smiley. She's been on our list, and I have her email. And so I promise, just now that the show is over, I'm kind of rejoining the world of living.
I hear you. Actually, I said I have no business running this meeting because I can't remember my own name this morning, so.
I really wish that show hadn't ended so quickly because I kept telling everyone how amazing it was after you took us through.
Thank you so much for
That
that.
was just
That
the
you've never
best.
had as many repeat people. I mean, people stop me in the show to say that they were on their 8th visit and they were coming again.
Oh,
goodness.
Wow.
There was just so much to see.
Oh,
It was
it was
really-
it was
and-
so
And every
cool.
time you glanced in a different direction, you saw something different.
It was so well done.
So
Yeah.
I miss it.
So,
On to the next one.
on
Well,
to
the
next.
Borghese is doing a little version of it in October something. Be part of that. So that's
Okay.
kind of- Do they record like a walkthrough of it or anything for?
I
I don't know if they're gonna do that. I'm advocating everybody do that. We're not even doing it for our summer show, which is crazy. Yeah.
It would be cool, like a video completely walk through.
Yeah.
you take it.
Well, we had the online virtual reality tour. which
Okay.
is, because then you could go up and not only can you get a high resolution image of the work, so you see it in the gallery and then you can click on it. And then you get all the interpretive, if it has an audio guide stop, you get the label, all that, you get a video sometimes.
Wow, is
So
that
it's
still
a great
available?
ways- Mhm. Oh,
You could become a part of a piece of art.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's cool. I like
It
that.
was amazing.
So I guess do we want to have other, do we have other?
I mean, we're not obliged to choose them this time. I think you guys just wanted to, for timing purposes,
Well, I
but
feel like if we're aimed at the first part of October, we should be getting on people's schedule.
Well, we should think in terms of fields and distribution of the arts, right? And our last one was. No.
It
Yes.
was, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was theater.
And it
I
was
mean,
tricky.
Jane would be literary.
And we had done Mary Engelbright right before
Mhm.
that.
Before that, right? So visual arts. Music would be nice.
Yeah, we've got a lot of music people in town.
I know, a lot of amazing music people, but I just remember when we did Gene Dawes Bradford, and he said, why is it a lifetime achievement? I'm only halfway.
Yeah, is that?
Are you
yeah.
telling me something? Yeah.
he left town now, so.
I know. Old music people. That's right, we need old music. Actually, strike that out of the minute.
I have
I
no
think-
business really suggesting anyone, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, please.
What about, like Joe Rath, I think is retiring from doing
Oh,
jazz
from doing
festival. What if we
jazz
did like the jazz
festival.
founders or something?
That's not a bad idea. So who, that would be Joe and who, Dan?
Well, that would be interesting, the idea of doing a co-presentation, like with Dan and Joe, the two of them together, because it's been them all this time.
Well, we
Well,
did
the
the
first
we did
one.
that- yeah, the first one was.
the,
And then we did the
That's
sisters.
right, yeah,
Sisters.
right. And yes, right, we have a precedent for that.
Oh, I like that idea. It's kind of innovative and different, the two of them, and they're both kind of handing over the Jazz Fest now. They're leaving it, well, not leaving it, but handing it over, transitioning it, yeah. So, and this year actually is gonna be, I'm sure on stage, we're gonna do something where we honor them.
Mhm.
That would be good timing.
Yeah, I think it's perfect timing. I mean, I think that's.
Ooh,
really
whoa,
look at that.
I have no business really saying anything here at this meeting, but I do have a killer idea.
That would be the first award given to someone that was not a artist or a performer too, so that would be.
Yeah.
It would be the second. It would be
Actually.
those ladies and the ladies from the theater. The
Yeah.
opera theater,
Yeah.
sisters.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
But then it's really important to remind the public that the arts belong to everyone and not just the
Well, it's
artist.
a contribution in the arts, and you can contribute
Right.
to arts and.
Yeah.
I think it's smart because it opens it up, and also, you get an award to people that support the arts. I mean, as long as there's that complete devotion to it, seems like a great idea.
And both these guys will pack the house, the two of them, I mean, really, in terms of draw.
Well, and also Joe did printmaking, I mean, he was the,
Well, Dan's a
and
musician.
Dan
Yeah.
had Webster Records and all that, yeah.
Well, and he's in a band.
And he played on my front porch.
Yeah.
Importantly.
So that seals the deal.
I
right?
Yeah.
Well, if we're inviting those people.
I know, right?
They moved that we really take this seriously and.
Coincide with the.
Yes.
Okay, I'm having lunch with both those guys tomorrow. Can I mention it to them?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna have fun next week.
Yeah.
Do we want to make that official?
Yeah.
Put
I-
that-
It would be nice if we.
Yeah.
I think we should.
Patrick,
So
Patrick, you're just going for the free lunch.
Now he's getting the free lunch.
Before he was there.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, yeah,
Hey, by the way, Joe, Dan, I worked out a little deal for you.
yeah.
Licorice.
Long for this, please. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm always thinking about you guys, Joe and Dan, so here you go.
Yeah, we can distribute licorice.
absolutely, everybody. In fact, I went to Straub's after that thing was on KTC and they sold out. It was-
Oh, yeah, I know, they sold it out after the documentary.
Well,
Hey,
now they have
Jennifer,
a new
anytime,
big
kid,
display. of it.
anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay, we done that.
No, we have to officially do that. So can somebody give a motion that we're gonna do?
We're gonna do
Okay,
this.
I
by-
move that for the Lifetime Achievement in the Arts Award
For
for
2022.
2022, we nominate Joe Rath and Dan
Warren.
Warner.
Awesome.
Oh, that's gonna
Second,
be great. Yeah, second.
those in favor?
I,
I,
And it is okay that I approach these guys.
I
and
say,
tell them,
yeah.
And we're looking at
And-
October.
I was
Right,
gonna say,
it-
let's figure this
time
out.
goes quickly. We're halfway through the year, so.
Well,
yeah.
you know, in fact, I did one, I kind of did one of these a couple of years ago with Joe Neal Joplin. If you want, I would love to handle the logistics of
You
this
did a
one.
great job. Why would we be so foolish as
I
to
know,
say
that's what I'm saying, no, I know, make it so.
That was pretty good.
make them an offer they can't refuse.
You didn't even bother to say if I do say so myself.
Right, it was like, yeah, I got this. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, do we? So the Jazz Fest is in September. I guess we would then wait, we would announce it at the Jazz
We
Fest
can-
and then
we-
have the.
We can certainly use the Jazz Fest as a promotional vehicle to be able to push it, because we will be standing in front of 10,000 people
Yeah.
listening to whatever we play on
Is that
stage.
how many people go to that?
Yeah,
But not at one moment.
at night it comes really close. I mean,
Wow.
can
It
you
is
imagine all of
crowded.
North Gore packed all the
Yeah.
way to Lockwood and you can't even move? That's a lot of people.
What's the
Could we
date?
just, what about giving the award that night? Is that what you're talking about, or I missed that? Are you just?
Well,
Well,
I'm
it-
saying we would have
No,
a
I think
separate
we have a-
reception.
I think we want to preserve that as our thing and not get it lost. And also, there's so much going on. Like I say, you're standing there and 10,000 people are listening to you, but they're really not.
Right, and they're there to hear
Yeah.
Chad. They're not there to hear about the two organizers. That's, I think. it should be a
But I think we
The
can count
second
on this being
weekend
like it.
in September, I want to say the 9th.
Oh,
You got
what month?
10th or 17th.
Patrick has, Patrick will have the actual date.
What month?
September.
September. Yeah, but can you believe it? I don't. But okay,
You're on the committee.
we're good. I know, I know. Yeah, I know, but it's not there.
10 to the 17th. right?
Be the 10th of November.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, so I love it. I love it. Let's
Okay,
work
wow.
through that. All right, so our next item on the agenda is the discussion with.
Wait,
She's
so
not
while
here.
we're on it, and
Yes.
so should we so we will designate the following week after the Jazz Festival?
Well, so I was thinking if we want to hold it with October, we could aim for the first part of October, and like, yeah,
Okay.
give people a month.
Right, and we
Yeah.
used to aim for the October, what's the event that happens in October? The paint, it wasn't.
There
No,
used to
was
be
it on the
a,
town?
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there used to be, Right. which we-
It's the 17th, thank you.
That's- 17? we don't have it.
We don't
So-
have that anymore.
So we don't have, so yeah, it's first half of October.
So, and maybe we can check with them and find out what would work. Seems like we usually do it on a Thursday. night?
Friday.
Friday
Friday,
night.
yeah,
So
we've
maybe
been
we
doing
can check
Friday.
with them and find out what the first couple of Fridays
Yeah.
in October would look like for them. Just in case someone's having, I don't know, knee replacement or going to Honolulu or something.
One of those is best, better option than the other. Yeah.
But both of them have happened. Interesting. We get the gamut.
A lifetime achievement.
I know.
Sometimes
You get
need.
the full lifetime experience.
Get to be in anticipation of this award, right? That should be in top form.
Ready to run across the stage.
No running.
So yeah, so Jenny is not with us just yet.
No, she was gonna be a little late.
She said, yeah, she had
Yeah.
to drop her kids off. So we will jump around that and get on into the miscellaneous updates. Unfortunately, Alex is not able to be with us this morning, but I talked to him about the mural project and it sounds like he is working with Doug, right?
Doug.
Doug Miller.
Pretty closely. They have a good lead on getting some of the funding. It did sound like when they started trying to do some pricing on it, they were looking at probably in the $20,000 range. Which is you know, a chunk of change. But he thought they could maybe get about halfway there, possibly with this one lead that they're pursuing from there on, with the community support. So yeah, I'm Jerry. stay-
So I'm helping with them with
Yes.
that lead, so, but. It is a foundation that is very, very private about their giving, so I'm not gonna name it on the recording, because then they'll be mad at me and maybe not give us. the
I
money.
know, and
So-
we would really. like
But
doing
yeah,
that, so-
the preliminary, I've had one preliminary conversation that was very positive, so we'll get Alex and Doug to sit down with them in the near future and work that through.
While we're thinking of murals, are we moved at all on the overpass?
I
to
just don't think that's
railroad?
really gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think it bogged down in getting approval from the railroad because they were even tricky about using their open house.
And they're
Yeah, because they
notoriously
take such
live their
good
own
care.
lives and don't listen to any of the rest of us, and so.
I bet they would pay attention to us if we just started doing it anyway. I bet all, I bet we'd start having meetings, getting phone calls.
Did you ever hear over by Glen Road?
I was just gonna say, you can have some people in the park about a tomato
Put in
farm.
a vegetable garden in places that they just didn't take care of their land, and lo and behold, right away, they started to come mowed that vegetable garden right.
No, they didn't.
That's.
Mhm.
So you're not wrong in your approach necessarily, and I'm not sure the outcome is gonna be what.
I get a lot more up there.
If results are what you want, you will get results.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think we have enough bail money in the budget.
Yeah.
Since we're gonna bail it out.
I know, let's get some crowdsourcing on bail
I
first.
just hate the inactivity.
Yes,
Like,
and it's such a good idea.
Yeah.
It's such a perfect idea.
No, it really is. It would be one of those kind of little gateways into the, like, oh, this is a cool place.
Right.
No, I.
And it's an eyesore right now, too.
And it is.
The dual effect of Dairy Queen and Peace and Cloud. I mean, it's like, is it seven? No, it's supposed to be
Yes,
low.
it has.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
That's a really good.
I think
Right.
Iowa has a lock on that.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Field of dreams, field of dreams. Is this
I
heaven?
really like that
Yeah, which
saying.
Webster grows. But again, what, Iowa's gonna sue us? Come on, let's do what we want. Say you're sorry.
We were into rebellion today.
Yeah.
Civil disobedience over here.
Feeling turkey, yeah.
What did you have for breakfast?
How many cups of coffee have we allowed?
Well,
you
that's
this
probably
morning?
it.
Well, it does, I guess, raise the question then. I mean, I suppose we'll see how this mural goes, but we had talked about putting murals several places and settled on that railroad trestle as the first, the best option, but if we're thwarted there, we want to go back and revisit where we wanted to put murals and talk about putting some places. Because I think it's a great idea.
Thwarted.
Thwarted, yeah, that can go in.
She's trying to get.
You know what? On July like 2nd, I'm gonna be like, what?
What is this word?
Why is that there?
Thwarted. So that's true.
Okay, so stay tuned about the mural. Summer concert update. Patrick, do we have?
Okay,
words?
yeah, we've got a concert coming up, and this is the concert that Jerry and Mike Silverman and I kind of put together a few years ago before COVID. And we brought it to the Art Commission because it was the kind of thing like all the work was already done. So would the Art Commission like to put its name on it? And in turn, the Art Commission is very helpful in terms of involvement with the city and trash and permits and parking and that kind of thing. Well, we, following COVID, we met with Mike Silverman, Jerry and Mike and I, and it was like, yeah, and Jenny of the Webster Arts, because this year I would like to propose that we do a collaboration with Webster Arts, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it involves really no work on the part of the commission, nothing very much. And are really expense. I would think it'd be wonderful if you could all pop for 2 porta potties. That's like $200. And we can talk about trash. That's really all we need, I think, from the commission. Webster Arts, what it's throwing in is Mike Silverman is willing to pay for the music, the band, and the stage. I mean,
Yeah, right.
his incredible philanthropy, regarding this is made this possible year after year. Jenny over at Webster Arts applied and got a $5,000 grant because this is a piano fest. And she got $5,000 for 3 pianos that we're going to buy. We're going to place somewhere in downtown Webster Groves in Old Webster. We're going to pay artists to paint them, and they're going to be playable. And we'd like to use that as a way of promoting the Piano Fest. So we're going to get people on the streets playing pianos, artists playing the pianos. They'll sit out there. I'm not sure some of the details, a few weeks. Then we'll go through all the paperwork and all the things that we need to be able to do that. So, I mean, the cool thing about it is it'll create a lot of buzz. And it's one of those things that reinforces like, hey, cool stuff is going on in Webster Groves regarding the arts. It's great for Webster Arts because, we're trying to get our name out there. We're going through a lot of growth and change. And I think it's also a real winner because it's just such a natural thing for the Art Commission and Webster Arts to collaborate anytime we get a chance. It's largely a lot of the same people, really. And our missions are so similar. And we've never competed. We've always worked well together. So this just seems to be everybody wins on this. So I suppose if there's a motion in that's required for this, it's I would move that for the August 27th piano concert, piano fest, that the commission collaborate with Webster Arts
And Michael.
and Michael Silverman.
What about porta potties you were wanting?
Mike's gonna pay for all of that. It would be, the only real expense, I would appreciate it, because I don't, if the commission could, I think it's $100 a porta potty. If the commission would, do we have any budget at all, by the way?
We'll have that, we'll have that.
Yeah, while you were talking about this, I'm
Okay.
gonna go grab my budget.
If you don't pay for the
I'll
board,
tell you
I
that.
can't think of anything more crucial to a successful art event than porta potties.
Yeah, no kidding. No, well,
To a lot.
toilet paper.
You can put that in the record. That's all. The last time I paid for it took a long time to get
I
in
know.
person. I just don't want to mess.
I know.
Excuse me, I was wondering, could we do something where people could, people are gonna be taking a lot of videos of people playing. But maybe there could be a way that you could upload those videos to a place on the city website. Or a site connected to that or something.
And knowing Mike, I don't think there would be any intellectual property rights issues with that. I think that's a good idea.
Well, I meant for the people that are just coming along and playing the piano.
I see.
For the, it was like if you're taking little Johnny down there, you're gonna take a video of him playing this cool piano.
Oh, I love that.
So,
Yeah.
and that's a beautiful segue to the fact that Jenny Starkey has just joined us, and Jenny, you may have just hit that cold, but we're talking.
You could have a little sign there, where our little card, upload it, we all want to see the performance uploaded here.
I love
You probably
that.
have to obviously manage it somewhat,
Welcome to Hi.
I love that, John. I think that is a great idea.
just to instill like what you were saying, that, the city of the arts, and here's what's happening here, and.
But, another thing about this event itself is the Masonites, they have, like, they sell ice cream and hot dogs, and, for them, it's their way of being a part of the
I think
community.
we call them the Mason.
The Masons, I'm sorry. Rather than-
Only day for the night.
Well, no, you're being recorded.
The Masons, I'm sorry, of course. They really, like the Hittites, so, yeah.
We need to close that. 'cause
So they really
It's loud, that
appreciate
we're
the
loud
opportunity to become
downstairs.
a part of the community.
But
So
these,
Webster Arts can distribute information, the art commission can have a little table there or whatever, so.
What is involved in putting pianos in the streets? Do we talk to the city about that? Do we talk to the business districts? Yeah, where do we take?
So I think probably it's not a bad idea to talk to the business districts about this.
Or I guess.
I think we've already identified 3
I was-
places.
yeah.
So we
Where are
have some
those right
targets.
No, one of we were looking for places that don't obstruct traffic and, I mean, everything going to the city, I guess, but that would make sense. One of them would be that little tiny little mini park when you go into the parking area by the art gallery.
Mhm. Yeah.
Another place was, I think, in front of a restaurant, was it where the sidewalk was broad, was it robust or?
There
We-
is a good
Yeah,
space
there
by
is.
Robust.
I mean, we
That
have
Robust would embrace this.
we have-
actually.
Yes, yes.
We have a few ideas and I can get more specific and I just
So
can't remember where they
They
were.
might
Do we-
even want to use it for some musicians they bring in.
I was gonna say, I bet they work with us. So how does that work?
So I think
Is
it's a
this-
special events
It's a
permit.
special events
Yeah.
permit, and we just list. I mean, we obviously check with the businesses around there to see if that's.
The artist
we
would
just
paint them
list-
on the side, so we don't have to move them twice. It's really expensive. when
I
you're
think
there.
that's right.
Well,
So,
we've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the
so
witch and the
Eric,
dream.
he does all the special event stuff now, and so he would be the one, and it's good because he's also staff liaison to all the business districts.
And we can Jenny do that.
Yeah, so he.
Not you, Jenny.
Yeah,
Different change.
So, and
There's a lot of
the only thing that
others.
pops to my mind in terms of location is that we need to make sure that we're not hindering ADA compliance.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
could, and in fact,
And that,
I'm,
and it sounds like you've thought of that in terms of
Yeah.
mobility.
in fact, Eric Peterson's gonna be at this lunch tomorrow too, so.
There you go. You got an
This is gonna
agenda.
be one hell of a lunch
I know,
tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah,
I feel the power.
yeah.
Okay, well, that is awesome.
Yeah, so everybody's kind of on board with this
I
and
think
Oh,
we-
absolutely.
we-
So
did
did
we
you want
actually have
a
an official-
motion that we
I
would
think-
endorse?
I
I
think
think
he
that
was,
was
he
the
moved,
motion.
but I didn't have a
do
second.
we really need to vote or can we just do it?
No, we actually.
There's a motion on the floor.
All right, so somebody moved, I second.
Motion so we collaborate with Webster Arts and Mike Silverman to be able to pull this off.
Yes, in favor?
Aye,
I.
great, let's do it.
All
do we have
right.
to do we have to make another motion regarding the piano's placement or?
No, that's Webster Arts.
It's all included in the same event, really. I mean, it's all the same event. One part of it is the pianos and part of it is the actual concert.
Okay, so it's all part of Piano Fest.
Piano Fest, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So Jenny's trying to buy pianos now.
I understand they're widely available. but-
Yeah, you don't even have to buy them. People are giving them away
Yeah,
everywhere.
Really, it's like who
Look
buys
on-
a cat.
Look on the website, there's buy nothing site.
You're gonna become a free piano broker.
No, really. It's
Yeah.
similar. Yeah, you don't have to buy a.
No,
piano.
the expensive part is just moving them, yeah.
Yeah, and tuning them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
great. Thank you, Patrick.
thank you.
So let's circle back really fast to welcome Jenny Starkey to our meeting. Jenny,
Hi.
I don't know, should we go around and introduce ourselves?
That would be great. Yeah, I know some names, not all names.
So
So
Judy, you
Right.
wanna
I
start?
talked to John before. He did some design work. for me. So that's great.
Hi, I'm Judy Mann.
Hi. nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Laura Arnold.
Katie Cahoon.
Good to see you.
Patrick Murphy.
Hi.
Lauren Montaner.
Hi. Good to
Beth,
see you all.
Beth, can you turn your camera on real fast? And then-
Hi.
Not Crowley, hi.
Right. And she's actually a really integral part of this discussion. Because what we wanted to talk to you about was how what our avenues are for promoting our programs through the city channels. What channels we would be able to use as a governmental organization. Can we have our own Facebook page or does it all have to go through the city? Like what?
It's, I would suggest, we've got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter right now. Instagram is building. Twitter's kind of stagnant at like 300 followers. It's been taking a long time to build followers. So that's why I would always caution against starting your own Facebook because you'll be starting from scratch, trying to raise them all. We're on Facebook. I think we've got like Jen, might be like 7,000-8,000 followers, something like that.
On the Explorer?
On Explore, yeah, on Explore Webster, it's like 10,000, and for the city one, maybe it's about 6,000 followers. All of those can be used for the arts things. I almost think the Explore Webster page, that's kind of our travel and tourism page, is kind of like we like to promote what restaurants we have here, what shops and events like the summer street dance and the old Webster, the old Orchard Gazebo series. I try to promote those on that page. So I think since that's got more followers, I'm always happy to promote any of the arts events there because I think it appeals to that same audience and it's more people.
And how does that work? I mean, do we send you?
Yeah, send me the information. We just refreshed the website. So there's, if you go to explorewebstergroves.com, it's kind of a travel and tourism page, like where we've got a restaurant search, we've got business search. I have tried to put press releases if there's bigger events that are happening, like Jazz Fest is gonna send me a press release, so I can get that on there. With a little bit more information for people. So sending me a press release that I can put on that page is great because that helps if anybody goes to our website, just trying to find out what's going on. And then I can use the information that's in a press release or just like, here's the basic facts of what we're doing, to put it on all the calendars, put it on the Facebook page, the Explore Webster calendar, promote it on Instagram and Twitter as well. And like with uploading videos and things, that would be something if I could work with you all just to get a hashtag and then we could promote that. So like if you're out about it at the event, do Webster Groves PM, something short, like probably WGPN, something like that. We'd think about it and brainstorm, but that I could promote that and then reshare those videos on the Instagram page. But as much advance notice as possible is good because then I can get it out to as many channels and boost the posts and put a little bit of money. I've got some money set aside for Explore Webster to kind of boost posts to make sure that more people see them. Not much, but I try to do about $100-$200 a month of boosting posts. And I just kind of randomly pick posts. But if I know that there's a big event coming up, I can choose that to boost those posts.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason I'm glad Beth is with us is because she's been kind of handling a lot of our PR stuff. And she's also assembled a database about all of the public art in the city, which we are still trying to figure out what to do with that. So Beth, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I think that we have a document put together. So several months ago, there was talk about trying to put together an art walk that would essentially bring people to various points of public art in the city and then provide information about each of the pieces of art. So it'd be kind of a collaborative, interactive experience. You could take a walk through the city and learn about the art. But kind of as a first step to that, we didn't have any real presence of public art on the city's website or descriptions where the art is or what it is or who the artist and what their intention was. So I started to try to collect that. And right now I think we have about a 14-page document that has, Jennifer, I resent that to you this morning.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we might want to just forward that to Jenny for her to take a look. But essentially what it does is it has a framework of like what a landing page could look like for public art in Webster Groves, a list of all the art, and then the idea that you could potentially link off to a specific page about that piece of art. And there would be a description. For some of them, we have better descriptions than others. We have some of them, we have artist statements. We tried to develop a little thing like explore more, some like little interactive things for kids to do, like try to find the feathers or do this or do that. And then the idea we'd also have a photo of each work.
And we don't have the photos yet. It's just right now probably the information.
Right now, well, Don Driscoll did take some photos, and I think he sent that file to you as well, Jennifer, at some point.
I will check, yes.
Yeah, so we do have some,
Okay.
but there might be some missing pieces. But the idea would be that eventually, if we have all of this on the website, that we could then do some things with it that are more interesting. We do Facebook posts that would talk about each piece of art and then link off to the page more and more. Potentially, if we did do this art walk idea, instead of doing a physical piece that are kind of hard for people to go pick up and a lot waste and not necessarily printing costs and things like that, we could do potentially like a QR code thing where if you want to learn more, you just scan this and go, you immediately go to that piece of works page. So that's why it's kind of important to have a distinct URL for each piece. But I guess we're at the point now where we've collected a lot of information. It's not perfect. We tried to cull it down and make it uniform as much as we could across the pieces of art. But now looping in and trying to figure out, okay, how do we actually get this up and who would do that? And what maybe changes do we need to make for different site specs or things like that? So.
Okay. Yeah, and with the website, it's very easy to create. The company we use, Civic Plus, is great because it's very easy to use. It's not terribly flexible, like it's got some templates that you can use, and within those boundaries, it's great. So I just kind of need to, I'll take a look at the information and try and figure out what way would make sense for me to get it on Civic Plus, but it's no problem to create a page for public art, and that would be great for the Explorer Webster Groves website. Because I think we even have a tab on that says art, and I kind of created a page based on a document that we have, with the understanding that we would probably put more stuff on there as we go. And yesterday I learned that we just got another program that's kind of helping the website become more accessible. I'm going to take a look and see what I've got as my tabs. And 60% of the people that come to our website come via their mobile device. So that's also, I think that's useful to know just when I'm creating pages to get a good, yeah, we've got one that says arts, fine and performing arts. So I think putting it in that little bubble on the front page would be a good place for people to find it. But
So would those be things from just that the city is sponsoring, or anything going on in the city?
I'm trying to put a priority on the things that the city is sponsoring. The calendar itself, anything that's going on in Webster Groves, we can put on the calendar. So I'm putting things from Novel Neighbor and other folks that they're doing. I put the Arts Fest this weekend that Webster Arts was doing.
Because Webster Arts would love to participate.
Yeah, and I reached out to Jenny Donaldson. I talked to.
Okay, well, that's all good that you're.
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
good. So they're gonna start sending me more stuff. So we'll put the priority on that. On the things that City of Webster is sponsoring, but
Sure.
you know.
Thank you.
Another incentive though to co-sponsor things.
Yeah.
Is that these channels then can be-
Exactly. Whenever we can collaborate with the city, yeah.
Jenny, where do you find the tab for the arts? I don't see it anywhere.
Or if you go to explorewebstergroves.com.
.com. I
Yeah.
thought you meant the Facebook page.
No, yeah, right
Sorry.
there, yeah, and there's just the little yellow
All right.
arts, and
Got it.
we had on the old page, we had a link to a document that just listed all of the arts organizations in Webster Groves, so I just kind of took that information and just put it on the website so we could update it more easily, but I'll be able to replace that with good public art information if we have it.
And that'll, I mean, and I was in conversations that we've had about this, I mean, that's point about if people wander up to a sculpture and want to know what is this, is that possible to link QR codes into that?
Yeah, I mean, we can easily make QR codes for anything, being able to make the individual page for each art. I'll have to look into that and see if there's gonna be an issue with that, but yeah, we pay for a service and it's like $100 a year where you can make as many QR codes as you want. It doesn't have adware or anything like that.
Yeah, you just need to have the ability to have some sort of printed sign at each at the piece that would have the QR code that they could scan.
Yeah.
So that's just the next discussion of if that's something that, you know, you'd either could have it on a printed piece that people would pick up, which that's another discussion if you want to keep printing those and having them be kind of out of date. But if you did eventually have something, signage that would have that, even if it's temporary signage that you kind of replenish, could have something there. But yeah, that's a different kind of just another aspect of the discussion of how that would.
Are we still printing up those walk guides?
Yeah, they're still there.
Because I mean, and I'm not opposed to not killing trees, so I think online is where we need to be.
The printing of those was in conjunction with the Historical Society. So I'm not sure where that is
I don't think I've seen any new boxes, like, I don't know.
I'm not sure any have been printed since the Northwestern one
Mhm.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I don't
still
think we-
exists.
Yes,
We've run out. I don't think we're running low. We've tried to figure out,
Yeah.
who pays for the reprint.
Well, I mean, clearly online is the way to go. I mean, that's the future.
And I could do some investigating to see what other municipalities or if they have something similar, what they do for it, and just kind of do some digging on that.
Cool.
Well, so Alex Olmsted, who unfortunately is not with us today, works for the city of Clayton. In this capacity, and so he has been a really valuable resource with ideas for what they're doing and how they're navigating all of this, so.
Very cool.
We
Okay.
can hook him in.
Touch base.
He might-
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's just a powerhouse.
he's a
Yeah.
absolute mine of data. And he actually had a couple of questions as well that he wanted to ask, many of which had to do with our ability to do fundraising. And I don't know, you would be our channel for that, but I don't know where I take that question.
Maybe because.
So that's through the public art fund, is that
Yeah.
what we're?
Is that a separate, like, 501c3? I don't quite
Why
understand
don't
what I'm
you let
asking.
me inquire with the city attorney about that and let him pull whatever the ordinance is that created that, and then we'll get a better understanding of what the parameters are.
Yeah, because his question was if we need budgets for, by that. His question was if we need a budget for, I mean, even $200 for porta potties. What is the avenue for raising that money? How does that work? And can we promote it through website? Can we send it out? Is there like an email blast that we can put out? That's very old
Because
school.
we're part of a government.
Because we're
rather
part of
than
a
some-
government, are we
Yeah.
allowed to, how does this work?
Do you remember if the sculpture at Barbary Park went through the public art fund?
It did.
or- So, and we did that on we did that on city channels. We didn't have as many or as many
Yeah.
followers, but that was,
That was major money.
yeah. So it may be just that there hasn't been vehicle for asking for that in the public art fund. lately.
And I guess that would go through you then, I mean, if we can even, I don't know, permanently have some sort of a link on that arts page that says.
Yeah.
Support us, or it would, I don't know what we would do with ourselves if we actually had a budget.
We rent porta potties.
potties.
I already know. We've already got stuff.
$4,900.
Is that what we have?
Assuming the budget passes. It's not yet
Okay.
passed.
4,900, it's voted on this month.
It is, so I'll update, when we're finished with this, I'll update you on the budget process, how about that?
Well, do we have other questions then for Jenny? Are we?
So
This has
the
been really-
next steps, so you will look about linking those pages to the.
I will forward her the information.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the
And you'll
information that we have and try to get a good idea of how it could fit there, and I'll see what other municipalities are doing and start putting a plan in place. Like, these are the options of what it could look like.
So yeah, I mean, I don't, not to be adding things to your plate, but like Beth has been really pulling this information together. She did go visit with her daughter, but I think if you guys could maybe coordinate about the information, and like I said, Alex works for Clayton and he has a lot of information,
Okay.
which might save you some digging because he can
Yeah.
just tell you. the
So that would be
answer.
perfect.
So,
That would be
I'll give you their
perfect.
information.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cool.
so,
Yeah. And then any of the other events that you guys have going on, just send all the info. out.
Right now, what we're looking at, we just talked about a Bur Oak Roots concert that's coming up July 15th.
Okay.
And there will be I'm sure a press release for that because the parks are amazing.
In October, we'll have a ceremony for lifetime achievement.
Oh, okay.
And then we have the Piano Fest, which was where you came
August
in August 27th.
Okay.
Because I mean, I get the feeling that people in Webster really do go to these sources and really do respond to them.
Mhm.
And when they see something that's interesting, they really show up. That's kind of what we've seen. with
Yeah.
events.
they use the channels, and then it also uses me how many times you can put something on the channel, and then still how many. So I think hitting them as many times as possible, because I see it like last year with the community days. It made me laugh that we had it so many places between us and the Lions Club, so many places, and you'd still see somebody like July 4th morning being like, so is what time is the and you're like, it's like in 47 places.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I think putting it on our channels is good, and then when people share it from their own individual ones, I think that
Well,
works
I
well.
mean, some of us are old enough to remember when you had to buy ads in the Post Dispatch and radio spots on Camel X. And if you wanted anybody to show up to anything, I mean, it is just so wonderful to live in this world where you don't have to have a marketing budget.
Yeah, and even then with some of the other ones, like I met with KTRS recently, and they're trying to do some more like small scale advertising. And I think to sponsor their traffic is $25. And
Wow.
there's no minimum to how many you can buy. So that's another one of those things that, it's always, I know the arts fair, when I met with her, she's the arts fair purchased a few, but I was, thinking of it for the community days, because it's not a huge mention, but they'll at least be like, today's traffic is brought to you by the Webster Groves,
So much for the state of contemporary.
Stop by, and it's $25, $100, it's a fairly cheap, and it gets it in front of the people who listen to radio who might be coming to the event.
Fun alternative to a cameo. for your
Exactly.
promotion.
It's like a very sad.
So Jenny she's asking about our, what are we calling it now?
The page and.
What?
It's,
the title is changing.
It's the what was our old print newsletter called? It was
The
called.
community connection was what it was
Was it called our old print? It was
Oh, Jan is
Impact.
joining
What
us.
was that called?
I have no idea.
Morning, Jan.
The old print newsletter that the city.
Morning.
wants
Oh,
to-
that one. Oh,
Hey, Jan.
How you
Oh,
doing?
that-
I couldn't get on.
Inside. That's what it's gonna start. That's what it's going. We're gonna call it Inside Webster Groves, and so that is always the last issue of every month. It's a full page ad that looks like a newsletter, and so we put the information in that. We start working on it in mid-month, so it's got a slightly longer lead time than just put something on Facebook, but
But if we have sent you material in time for that,
Mhm.
are we included?
Yeah,
in that?
yeah.
So in order to send you material, do we send it via email or to you or what?
Email works best, yeah,
Can
and
you
that
give us your email?
no
address?
problem. It is Starkey, STARKEY J at webstergrovesmo.gov. And of course, and it's always, I work with Fran a lot in the business districts, Fran, and she's always really great that if it's like the summer night street dance, she'll be like, here's the information for summer night, here's a photo from last year. And so that helps with like Instagram and other things. Just if I have a photo from last year or something, I've got a visual. Like I know with the Bur Oak concert, if it's in the same with by the Bur Oak, yeah. So I've got a great photo from last year I can use for that, which is nice. It helps.
Awesome. You got a pink piano. Well, I mean, clearly that's going to be a very photogenic.
Yes,
you know,
I think and that would be the one that I think would be fun if we did get a hashtag going for that people could,
Play
Yeah.
the pianos and post themselves. Yeah. Right. Do we have any other questions for Jenny? while she does? Jenny, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up?
Not that I can think of, but just that, I mean, with Explore Webster, we always need content. So I'm happy to take any of the events and things that you're doing and push them out there, because especially with Explore Webster, the more cool things that I have around Webster Groves that people can do.
Yeah.
The
more
better
that
the
come
page
back
seems,
to
yeah.
look. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been pretty focused on restaurant and retail. And I'd like to just kind of branch out from that and do some more of the arts things that we're known for.
Well, thank you for joining us.
No
You're welcome. You're welcome to stay for the last 7 minutes of our meeting.
I will
You
sign
get
that.
exciting. I know. You never know what's going to come into this group. Thank you. It's nice to meet
Thanks,
you.
Jenny.
Okay, so I think the last thing is an update on the signage for the sculpture park, which, of course, now I'm wondering, ooh, do we wait?
again for a couple more months and get these QR codes on those signs if we're doing them over, or should we carry on?
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, you could,
I think-
That's
I
what
think we
I'll-
should wait.
you could put a unique, unless I missed something, you could put a unique QR code on each sign specific to that sign that would take you to, you know what I mean, on your phone, you would get a picture of that and all the more information about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was
So
checking.
the next one, you don't want the same QR code just to take you to something else where they have to, dig deeper and put something else in. But you could easily make each sign with its own unique code.
Yeah, I think Jenny was saying she would have to check in on that to see.
Whether you could have a pay.
That's those
Yeah.
individual
Yeah.
pages.
We can do. I mean, this is like way above my understanding, so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna pretend I have any idea what I'm
I mean,
saying.
there's
but-
no way we could have a fixable QR code app. It's just taking so much.
It's taking
Yeah.
so long to get these signs, and I don't wanna lose that little chunk of money.
Yeah. John, what happened the last meeting we had? We had a meeting that didn't happen, and then I gather there were some later meetings about.
I've just contacted, the guy at In Graphics, and I mean, there's nothing that's changed unless we're gonna, try to get it lower. I mean, they have the signs and it's the same ones I think that people have seen from Washington University. So it's the same setup that we all wanted, and they gave us a price. So he's just, I mean,
Do QR codes work in bronze? I mean, can you, like, how much contrast?
Painted.
yeah.
But
It's,
if our signs are gonna be metal.
it'll work as long, I mean, you might have to make them a specific size, but
There has to be contrast, so.
Right,
Right.
but
Just
I think
asking,
that
does
the
it
name,
work?
right, John, those signs, at my recollection, the title and all the information is black on bronze, right? It's not just raised,
Is that
It was-
enough
right, or
contrast
not?
for a?
I
phone?
think they're, yeah, I thought they were raised.
Just raised, well, then would that work for a QR code? Is that?
Yeah, I believe so. It's like,
We can.
I mean, it's just like the lettering. At some point, it's gonna wear down, I mean, or get dirty, but yeah, as long as there's a contrast. And we would look into that, we would just check it, test it.
Way off my.
This is not my wheelhouse at all.
So.
I can't answer you for sure how you would do it, but I know you just would, you can just adjust the sizes of them. So that,
They could tell us whether QR codes work on this.
correct. I'm 99% sure they'll work. What I don't know is if they have to be made a certain size, which you can make them any size. You see them on packaging where they get real small.
Yeah, yeah, in the newspaper, and
The scanners of your phones are getting better and better and better.
you just put the phone closer or further away. I think.
Right. And the phone, the scan beeps when it has it.
Mhm.
So if it doesn't, you can test it very easily.
Well, I guess.
But
John,
that shouldn't hold up our signs anyway. I mean, we haven't given them the artwork, so they, it wouldn't make any difference to them if they get a QR. We check with them that works, and the size that they would need, but I don't think that would affect our cost at all.
John, would you be willing to go back to them and ask about the QR code thing? Because I think Jenny's maybe gonna let us, and Jennifer, I think.
But we don't know if we can have specific pages for each.
If Jenny's
sculpture
gonna
anyway.
let you know about the pages, and if John lets you know if the sign, and then maybe we can just get these things ordered and installed.
But then John, we have to generate the actual copy for each label, right, to give to them. We have not
Yes.
done
Each code, right.
Well, not
Well,
just the
just
code,
we have
but
to-
For the
information.
signs, for the actual signs.
The
like
actual lettering. on the
Yeah.
sign.
Well, we probably were gonna have, well, we wouldn't have to do everyone before, but I don't know why we would be any different. You know what I mean? Here's your text and here's your code for each sign, but I'll check that with him.
Right, but we have to to
And
generate the text.
Yes.
We don't have a document. right,
I
that
think we
has
do
that.
have to generate the text.
Which-
Well, I'm not sure. It just.
Maybe Beth has that
You would-
information
You would give them
in
a
some of the-
setup.
Yes, we could extract it from that, yeah, probably easily. Although I don't know, well, yeah, she probably does have that label information.
Well, and I guess that's a valid point. I mean, before we make that official, Judy, would you be willing to spearhead the words on the sign?
Sure, I
Make sure that it's.
So I will get in touch with Beth.
I will
and
just
see.
send you the document
the
that she sent me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
The
yes.
other component of this would be the page that you're sent to. You know, in other words, like if you're gonna have information about the artist on the sign and you're looking at the art, there's no sense in going to a QR code and then you see a picture of that and the same information,
Exactly.
you know.
We're
which
not
would-
gonna do,
Mm-mm.
we're just giving what we call tombstone information. We're gonna give the artist, the
Right.
title, and the donor. Maybe dimensions, but I don't think so, because usually when you're standing in front of something, you don't mention. Medium, we'll give medium, but that's it. And then the QR code will take to the, 250 to 500 words that Beth has in her.
Right, and some of the art, we would have more information than
Right.
others. You know, you
Right.
could get some
Right.
pictures of the, of the bird probably in process, or, I'm sure that the artist has that. I think that would
For
be.
examples of
Right.
other
Yeah,
work
yeah,
by
yeah.
the artist.
Yeah, no, some of them,
Well,
yeah,
that's-
can
but
be
that's
quite
all
rich,
on
and
the
maybe we can
website.
augment them. Once
Yeah.
we establish the page, we can actually.
As long as it fits on a single page, we could put other stuff in there. I mean, I think it opens up a whole nother, and then those codes could be used anywhere to direct them there.
All right. But yeah, if we can get all those moving parts, maybe we can actually get these signs.
Yeah.
Moving.
Right. So right now, we're just focusing on the sculpture part. I mean, that's what originally
was
generated this, but we have other places that we
Well,
have.
if we're gonna
We
start
have our
putting
various,
various and everything.
I think we-
Rabbit and the jazz.
But again, we're
Right.
gonna have to have a budget for that, so.
Right, and that's not covered in the budget we have.
That's not, what we had was just the sculpture park, right?
Not sure.
He
I
only
think we
bid on-
did,
he-
like a 10 or something, didn't we? have a
Something like
target
that.
number?
Yeah, it was like 10
Which
or
I think is
12.
more than we have in
Well,
Yeah.
the
maybe we
sculpture
can
park.
pick
So we
the
might be able
10
to
most
add a couple.
important.
I had originally mentioned to him that, this would be something that maybe every year there would be another one or two, or,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what's great, having this system that seems to be not that unusual, to go in and get the next year to match it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it seemed like a pretty good idea.
Well, that was the 9 o'clock bell. You're all late for chemistry class now. Do we have anything else that we need to discuss?
Just on the topic of the sculpture park, actually, my husband commented the other day that it should be named, it should be something sculpture park. And I wondered if we might consider naming it the Jerry Welch Sculpture Park. Just running that by.
I think that's a fantastic idea too. I mean, I love that because she really spearheaded that so much. Is there a procedure for that?
I will find out. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what this was about.
The naming the sculpture park, the Jerry Welch Sculpture Park.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
Jan, what are your thoughts?
I think that would be an excellent idea.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have signage of some kind.
Well, there's another 3 years.
I know.
And
And
also
one of the
It's
things
favor
I was
too.
gonna ask John about when we talk about on the signage. Sometimes I've seen like a sign or a plaque on, let's say, on a sculpture, but then to the side, there's another little, like a little sign that you can scan from your phone that takes you somewhere. I wonder if if there's a problem when you put if you put it all on one sign, if there's any issue with one of you said something about, well, what if, dirt or anything gets on that as far as scanning? So I was wondering about the other option. I've seen somebody else say scan from your phone, but there'll be right next to the sculpture, a separate little thing that has for scanning. I don't know.
I
Just,
think, I'm not sure either, but I think that's because the sign was there and then they, you know what I mean? They decided to add this new technology to it. I think since we haven't done them, we can add the new technology.
can add it to it. And
I will know, and I'll send Jenny a follow-up and she could send it out.
All right. Yeah, thank you, John. And good question, Jan, because we want to explore our options.
well, just thinking about yes, what if, something with the sign
Right, right.
makes it so they can't, I don't know. Just,
Yeah, and it could be the way that sign was, the sign that you looked at is made. I just figured, I have seen that and I just think, I didn't think about it, but I would probably be that everything was there and they just updated, that signage without having to redesign the thing, redo it.
unless that with the updates, yeah, unless there's gonna be a lot of updates anyway, and then it might be better to have it separate. I don't know, but something to think about.
All right. And Dave, thank you for voting in favor of that. Or is your hand additionally raised
Are
or?
we all voting on the Jerry Welch name?
Yes.
He just, he said his hand is raised, so thank you.
I only had one thing. We had at different times referred to that. It's natural to call it a sculpture park, but I think at one time we were calling it a sculpture garden, just to think of it more intimate. You know what I mean? And not like a Lomar Park where you walk for acres. I mean, everything is more.
Right, it's not a good park.
Sculpture garden, but that's
All
just,
right. And Dave Buck would like to say one other thing. Dave, and if we could keep it fairly short because we are after our time here.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, thank you very much. And at the risk of beating the dead horse, this is an issue that I'm not going to give up on because I believe in it. It's something that you all started 4 years ago when you referred to Webster Groves as the city of the arts. John did the artwork, street pole banners were made. They're still up on selected street poles. Even today, t-shirts were printed. And for the life of me, I don't know what our holdup is in terms of the city getting behind this and embracing it as its brand identity and brand slogan, Webster Groves, City of the Arts. It's all there in front of us. In fact, if you Google and type in what does Webster Groves stand for? The arts comes up. It's the foundation of the arts, historically going back to the St. Louis Artists Guild 100 years ago, and the Rep and Opera Theater and Webster Youth and Community Music School. It's all there. We are the city of the arts. I mean, Jesus, the arts fair was wonderful this last weekend. This city loves the arts, and it's something that makes us unique and different from all other surrounding communities. I don't know why we don't own it, but the only people that have ever responded positively to me have been John, Marilyn, and Jerry Welch. They said they like this idea, they support it. But beyond that, it's fallen flat, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it, and so I'm sorry. So
Thank you for that, Dave. I mean, I think obviously the Arts Commission supports it, but I think it would be something that it would be more from a city council.
Yeah.
We
It's in
can't
our
adopt the
purview.
slogan ourselves, so I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Dave, I will say, I think it's a good idea. It's an excellent idea, but keep in mind that our plate is really full right now. And so we can't necessarily go on the timetable that you prefer for us to do this. But I will raise it with council for discussion. And I think frankly, it comes with strategic planning because, it is a city of the arts, absolutely, but it's a city of other things as well. And we want to make sure that we don't shortchange the other aspects that identify us as a community in thinking this through. So I'm not suggesting that that doesn't mean we can't go forward with it. I'm just saying, I think it needs to be done thoughtfully with our strategic planning process.
But thank you for the comment, Dave.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I actually need to get going too. It's well after 9 o'clock at this point. Is
I
there
move
anything
we
else?
adjourn
Are we
our
adjourning?
meeting.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you. Oh, yeah, our next meeting is
July 5th.
July 5th. Oh, wait, right after the 4th. Are we all, is that okay? Everybody up to
July
that?
5th does come right after the 4th.
I may not be with you. All my kids are coming home, they're all bringing friends, so I have a very full house.
Well, maybe you want to come seek refuge.
That may very well be true, actually.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.